on a few more people to join us. We've got a few people coming through here at the moment, so just another half a minute or so. We should be able to kick everything off. Right, I think that's everyone in. Hopefully you can all hear me all right. So yes, good morning. My name is Tim Wiggins. I'm one of the vendor managers within the Fortinet team. What I'm going to be covering off this morning is FortiCloud, more around the sales side than anything else, and giving you a bit of an overview on the FortiCloud, what it does, where it fits in, how people can actually register for the FortiCloud as well. I don't think a lot of people realize that you can actually register onto the FortiCloud and actually start using the FortiCloud services at no cost. And it also gives you some benefits in terms of it's an easy way of upselling things like additional store or reporting purposes and some of the reporting capabilities on FortiCloud. Chris Pritchard and Zach we'll be actually doing a technical overview, actually showing you FortiCloud running at 11 o'clock. So for all you sales people out there, go and let your technical guys know about it. In actual fact, even yourselves, it'll give you a good insight into how FortiCloud works. But Chris and Zach will be actually going through and showing you FortiCloud running. And it's a great way of actually getting customers engaged and actually showing them some of the additional services that they could be taking advantage of within the Fortinet products. So, just before I start, I just wanted to literally run through 5 minutes through just to give you a quick update and view of who we are. So as I said, I'm from the Fortinet team within Exclusive Networks. We're comprised of effectively 4 different companies within the group. So we've got Exclusive Networks focused around security, cyber security. We've got the Big Tech group around data transformation. So Big Tech cover hybrid cloud storage systems, hyper-converged compute virtualization storage platforms such as Nutanix, and also monitoring and control for hybrid type platforms. So they have tools around that. We have Exclusive Capital, and I'll talk a little bit more around Exclusive Capital shortly. And then we have iTech, which is around global services and logistics. So if you've got a customer like a large retailer that we did last year, they want to turn around and deploy FortiGate units out into different countries in the world, they will sort out the logistics, getting them out there, getting units racked up, and even enabling them and configuring them out there as well. In terms of the Exclusive Group, founded in 2003, we are privately held as well. Here in the UK, we've got about just over 145, 46 people. We also provide in the UK the first and second line support for all of our partners covering all of EMEA, North Africa, and out into the Middle East as well. We also have Exclusive Group are also out in the Asia Pacific region. We purchased Exclusive Group purchased Transition Systems in Asia Pac a little bit over, just over 8-9 months ago as well. And we also are out in Australasia too. We talk about being a value-added distributor. And so these are just some of the services that we get involved in and how we define a value add. So we do a lot of demand generation with partners. We get involved in pre-sales and post-sales. So our technical team can actually get involved in doing and getting on the phone with an end customer, understanding the requirements, and helping you in terms of going through a pre-sales engagement. We do a lot of POCs as well within that, and I mentioned the logistics as well, shipping UK and abroad as part of what we deliver. Within the group, I mentioned exclusive capital. So exclusive capital has been going for about 2 years, and exclusive capital are there to provide financing for you or your customers. So, for example, we have a lot of customers out there, people who want to do an infrastructure project. They don't necessarily have a budget, or they have a budget running over 2-3 years, and they want to do a little bit this year and a little bit next year. What we can do is engage exclusive capital. They can sort out how the end customer wants to finance that deal, and it doesn't just have to be exclusive products. It could be someone else's servers, Sun servers, someone else's products and going in there as well. And the exclusive capital guys will actually sort out how that customer wants to pay for that service, help them in terms of the project management and delivery of the actual financing side of that, so they can actually spread the cost over a 3-year period to meet their budget requirements. And rather than doing it in bits and pieces, they can actually do the whole infrastructure project this year and pay for it over the next 3 years. So as I said, it is a specialized financing service. They literally do it at the current interest rates plus 1 or 2% depending on the size of the deal. The beauty of that to you as a partner is that you can actually get involved with your end customer. The exclusive capital guys will come in, they will sort out all the financing side. They will then turn around once everything's finalized on the financing side, the customer's happy with the technologies that you've proposed in there. They literally walk in and they tell you to order the products, so they actually give you an order to order all those products and deliver it to that customer, and within 5 days you've actually been paid as well, and then you can start implementing that in the customer. And that includes everything from hardware, software, licensing, the services, training requirements that you may be doing with that end customer as well. And we can do that. We've done the financing for short terms, for like a quarter, just to bide someone over. Okay, we're coming up to a lot of people's financial year ends. They may have a bit of budget this year, want to use a bit of next year's budget, so we can do something short term like that, or we can do it over multiple years as well. And as I said, that's something that's available to you, and we can certainly get Chris Armitage involved in looking at that. And as I said, it's an enabler, a sales enabler in there. In terms of exclusive networks, we've been a distributor for Fortinet since 2006. We have actually been distributor of the year for the past 2 years as well. And as I mentioned earlier on, we do provide level 1, level 2 support for all of our exclusive group or exclusive networks customers across EMEA and the Middle East as well. We also have a full set of LOAN and CTAP equipment. So these are LOAN equipment for you to use for POCs and the likes. So we can ship out a 60D, a 60E, a 100D, 300D, etc. For you to go and install in a customer and actually run a POC for 4 or 5 weeks. But we also have CTAP units. So this is the Cyber Threat Assessment Program that's currently being run. If you've got a customer that wants to run that, we can actually send you out a CTAP unit which can be installed for the 7 days, all the reports generated and that presented back to the customers. And we do actually help customers get that off the ground and going. So a little bit on Fortinet. They've got about 2.5 million units installed out there, and they've got significant coverage. They are cache rich. And they've been doing some acquisitions, so you would have heard that they acquired Maru Networks, which I may well mention a little bit later on because it is applicable to the cloud side of things. And also they acquired Excelops last year, so all around the theme type stuff as well. So that's your security, incident, and event management facilities. and something that's very much a growing area. You would have also heard probably, and if you look on the Fortinet website, a lot around their whole Fortinet security fabric. So the Fortinet security fabric is effectively, it's a framework for interoperability across all the Fortinet platforms. So whether you've got FortiClient, a FortiGate, where you've got applications being run, FortiMail being run, it actually provides a complete infrastructure around interoperability around that. And it gives you complete visibility and control as well of your actual networks and products, Fortinet products within that network. So it allows you to leverage things like the threat intelligence. If a FortiGate unit picks up a threat or an access point, a secure access point picks up a threat, it allows those different components to actually share that threat intelligence around the network. And we can also extend that out, and Fortinet also extend out the security fabric to other vendors as well. So you will also find that they have a set of published APIs, and the Fortinet security fabric actually allows interoperability in the sharing of that information out to a lot of other partners out there. And that's something that Fortinet are very proud about in terms of what they've done. The APIs allow these alliance partners to connect into that fabric and actually share the threat intelligence, and that integration includes things like hypervisors, orchestration, cloud, sandboxing, logging, etc. So we're here to look a bit more into the FortiCloud stuff as well this morning. So, and this is the reason why we're all here. So, what are some of the drivers? What are some of the areas that is actually forcing cloud management to come about, and for Fortinet to spend a lot of time and effort developing the technologies? So it's all around the software as a service model. It's continuing to grow, and it's also about making things simple. Ease of use, simple in terms of provisioning, also simple in terms of visibility. So, and if you're a small customer, if you've got a customer with something like a 60D, okay, that customer wants to see what's going through his network, what's actually happening, as much as that enterprise side as well. So it extends those services right across from the small business right through to the large enterprise as well. In addition to that, it also allows you to look at things like managing your wireless infrastructures. So if you think about BYOD and what's actually been going on with people, the proliferation of BYOD into the different areas of business, it allows you to actually manage the wireless infrastructure, bringing those BYOD devices and extending the security as well into some of those environments. And security has always been seen as being managed separately to wireless. Well, this is where we can actually start bringing some of that technologies together, where we're actually managing the wireless and the security platforms as well. And I'll show you a little bit more around that shortly. So some of the challenges that are faced with just managing security wireless infrastructures is all around where the devices sit. And we look at the security challenges. As I said, security has always been managed separately to wireless. They've always been sitting in their separate silos. And there's been a lot of redundancy, we think, around that as well. In terms of costs, there's also the cost element as well. You're purchasing different parts of equipment. It has an impact on budget, but there's always that unknown element around some of the management side of things. So it's trying to make things more predictable, more easier to understand, and how you actually want to look at those costs and managing those costs as well. And then there's also the operation side. So who's actually operating or managing all those infrastructures and creating a common platform, a single pane of glass, so you can actually sit down and see exactly what's going on in your network and what it's doing. So FortiCloud itself is, in fact, as it says, it is a cloud-based platform, allowing you to easily manage multiple FortiGates, and also wireless access points as well. It is cloud-based. It allows you to do things like provisioning. So you can do the provisioning of access points or groups of access points, provisioning of your FortiWiFi or FortiGate units. You can also go into them and actually manage those and change those configurations, back them up, that type of thing through the FortiCloud as well. And it provides a visibility, a complete visibility of your of that infrastructure and network. So, for example, you could have a customer got multiple branch offices, for example. This gives them the ability to actually create policies, go out, provision that equipment, irrespective of where it's located, and actually go and set up and configure their network. And we actually talk about zero-touch provisioning when doing that as well, and when we'll talk a little bit more about that. So it is cloud-based management. It is a common platform for the FortiGates and FortiWiFi units. It provides a very comprehensive dashboard for you to go in there and actually see all those devices and manage that. You can also do provisioning, as I mentioned. So what that allows you to do is buy a provisioning license, take all your Forti access points, for example, that you bought, Forti secure cloud managed access points, go and send them out and actually go and provision them without having to actually go onto site to do that. And I'll show you a little bit more around that as well. You've also got the capabilities of doing all the integrated security, so be it on the actual FortiGate units or in fact on your secure access points as well. So you can actually go and implement the different security components and push policies out to those devices as well. And it also provides you with the reporting and visibility. What is actually going through your network? It's not just an access point sitting there with blinking lights on that people can access, but what are they accessing? And it gives you visibility and insight into that. And similarly with a FortiGate unit, it gives you the capabilities of actually seeing what's going through a FortiGate. So for some of your customers out there that means you may install a FortiGate with, you can actually use the FortiCloud to generate a report, send it off to your customer every day or every week, and he can see exactly what's going through the manage that. You may manage that on his behalf, but you can send him out a report so he can see exactly what's going through his FortiGate unit day in, day out. And it's not just then a box sitting in a corner that he's not aware of what it's actually doing. And those reports can be quite comprehensive in terms of they're telling you what people are doing, when they're doing it, what security threats are being blocked as well. So how it works. So effectively you have FortiCloud, you can configure FortiCloud, you connect your devices into the FortiCloud. So as I said, it can be FortiGates, it can be Fortinet or FortiWiFi units as well, so the FortiGate with the integrated wireless on them. And it can also be cloud managed access points, so the secure cloud managed access points out there as well. And what effectively this allows you to do is actually look at setting up and configuring the network such that all the application security logs, all the details of what's going on is sent to Forti from a reporting point of view. It also allows you to look at configuring the device settings. So if you want to change a setting, you can actually change that setting and push that down to the FortiGate, change the FortiAP's security settings if you want to, or SSIDs, and effectively centrally manage or remotely manage those devices out there as well. And you can do some other things. You can do things like grouping access points together. So if you've got 10 access points in a certain location, you can actually group all those access points together so you have common settings across them, and also that they are known to be grouped together for things like handoff and everything as well for users within those groups. We talked about provisioning and zero provisioning. So one of the beauties of FortiCloud is that your administrators, your customers can buy multiple FortiGate units, multiple access points, They can buy a provisioning license, FortiDeploy provisioning license. They can then turn around and go into FortiCloud, configure and set up the actual FortiCloud with that license as well. You can then distribute the FortiGate units and also the access points out to the different locations that you may have where you've got the requirements to put in your FortiGates or your Forti access points. Your IT administrator can then turn around and have everything set up and actually push the configurations out to all those units. So when they're dropped in, the units actually call back into FortiCloud. It gets actually registered, so we know the unit's there, and we can then push the configurations out and set up those devices out there. So the device is sitting there and is simply configured. The other element that I don't think people realize within which is an element of FortiCloud, and that is sandboxing. And we've heard a lot of talk about sandboxing out there. And sandboxing addresses the advanced persistent threats, looking for the unknown. So you can have FortiGate units out there. What you can actually do is buy a FortiCloud sandbox subscription. What that entails is you're putting a license on the FortiGate unit. You do have to have a FortiCloud registered as well within that unit. Bear with me a second, please. Sorry, just trying to mute a few people here a second. So that allows us to effectively put the subscription on the unit, and what we're then able to do is actually utilize the cloud services for the advanced threat protection service. So what happens in that environment is effectively the FortiGate unit itself. The FortiGate unit itself has something coming into it, so it has a suspicious or detects a suspicious file. It could be a link as well. That is then sent up to the FortiCloud. A copy of that is actually sent up to the actual FortiCloud. The FortiCloud detonates. Effectively, it runs the file. It opens the file. It checks the content. It has a look to see what's going on with that. If it needs to as well, it can also send that back across to the FortiGuard Labs services as well, and they can do some additional analysis, and subsequent to that, if the file is found to be suspicious as well, the actual FortiGate unit itself can then block or flag up that traffic and actually make sure that nothing else comes through. And that can be work on the FortiGate. It can also be integrated in with things like FortiClient as well, and FortiMail. So FortiSandbox Cloud Service is available across a couple of the different platforms as well. In terms of the actual management side as well, so FortiCloud also provides you with the, as I said, the ability to actually provide hosted management and visibility of your devices out there. So within FortiCloud, you can go and you can see what devices in there, what devices you've got registered on there. You can see what storage they're doing. You can actually go in and view the reports as well within the FortiCloud service. So you can actually go and see what's going through. Effectively, you can actually almost literally go in and see the FortiView service for a particular FortiGate unit out there. You can also configure that reporting and schedule the reports to be sent out to your customers as well as part of that as well. I mentioned briefly or earlier on about access points. So a key component of FortiCloud is the wireless offering. So Fortinet has a couple of different wireless offerings, and next month I will actually be specifically covering off the Fortinet Secure Access Architecture and the 3 different wireless offerings, the cloud-based, the integrated, so with access points connected to a FortiGate, and also the infrastructure wireless, which is the old Maru product as well. So I'll be covering off those different platforms in next month's Forti Friday WebEx. So specifically around the cloud managed wireless offering, that is managed through FortiCloud. So Fortinet's cloud managed wireless is not just about managing wireless, it is actually providing you a secure managed wireless device. So integrated into the actual access point is the security platform with security elements in there. So things like your AV, your IPS, your web filtering is all built into the actual access point as well. So all those services are in there. And what that enables you to do is manage those access points through the FortiCloud. So you can manage what the SSIDs are, you can manage the different elements in there, so managing the actual wireless side of it, and manage the security element of that. I get asked a lot of questions around that. So in terms of how it's actually deployed and how it operates, is effectively you have the access points within a specific network able to interact with each other. They do talk to each other. So things like handoff can be addressed when people move around within a wireless network. The actual traffic itself does not actually get forwarded to the cloud itself. The traffic actually goes straight out onto the network, out onto the internet, if you with the internet connections on there as well. And the only thing that FortiCloud does is actually provide the management capabilities of that. So the actual managing of the SSIDs, how the access points are configured, what channels they're on, and the security elements on there. So the IPS, the AV, the web filtering is managed through the FortiCloud side of things. So in terms of the access points, there is a number of different access points across the units. I'm not going to go into them individually. Suffice to say, there's a single radio, ABGN and AC access points. There is dual radio units out there as well, and they've also just recently released the Wave 2 dual concurrent access points as well. In terms of the subscription, if you want to enable and utilize all the security services on the FortiGate itself, then that is actually driven through the Mount Cloud Management subscription, and that provides you with the capabilities, as I said, of configuring the other elements in there. So configuring the IPS, or intrusion prevention, the antivirus, the web filtering, and the application control in there as well. So it provides you with a complete management platform for the wireless, as well as the security element within that wireless. Just a couple of use cases, just to finish off a few things here. First one was a small business with multiple offices or multiple shops around. They use the FortiCloud service to actually manage those units and actually deploy the units out there and manage them on an ongoing basis. They also looked at the reporting, so they also took on the FortiCloud analysis and one-year log retention. And I'm going to talk a little bit more around that just before we finish off. We can also do it for larger companies, so it has got the capabilities of being used within a distributed enterprise. So again, a mix of locations. You can do mass deployments, push out using FortiDeploy, and in this particular scenario they had 40 Wi-Fi units, they had 40 gates, and as well as that they also had access points located around in different locations. And utilizing some of the other products within Fortinet, they also use FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer within that environment because of some of the services that they wanted to use in the advanced reporting of FortiAnalyzer as well. So how do you get started on FortiCloud? So you can go in, you can set up an account on FortiCloud. you can actually go in and set up an account from any FortiGate unit. You go into the FortiGate, you can go onto the dashboard and you can actually see a FortiCloud widget, or you can actually go to the FortiCloud website. The FortiCloud website, www.forticloud.com. On that website, there is also a demo, so you can actually click on the demo and go into that. You can show your customers what's in there as well. You can also log into the FortiCloud via the licensing widget on the actual FortiGate unit itself. When you do it, you set up within the FortiGate unit to send the logs up to the cloud service as well. And once you've actually got the FortiGate unit talking to FortiCloud, you can log into FortiCloud and effectively manage it and see what the FortiGate unit is doing. So every FortiGate out there that you've got today can actually be integrated or actually start sending logs up to and details up to FortiCloud. In terms of the subscription, so the free version of FortiCloud lets you do certain things, so you can go and see the devices, you can log into the device, you can see what it's actually doing and manage that device. But there are a couple of items on within the service that do require a subscription. So in terms of the provisioning that I mentioned earlier on, so doing mass or zero-touch provisioning does require a FortiDeploy license to be purchased to push that and do that zero-touch provisioning. You can also do reporting within there. So the free version gives you 7 days worth of logs. There is not actually a limit on the free version. They have actually recently changed some of this. So you can do 7 days worth of logs, and you get a standard set of reports. So you can't do any extensive reporting. It's just a simple report that's generated on a daily basis that you can actually send out, and that report shows you the top sites that were accessed, the top users within that, what those users accessed as well, and any threats. So it gives you details of threats that are stopped by the FortiGate unit. It also gives you login details. So if I logged into the FortiGate unit, did I log into it and change anything in there? So administrator logins, etc., can all be tracked through that. You can buy a subscription, a 1-year analysis and log subscription, and that extends the logging and support or the logging on the unit to 1 year. So that's a wraparound of the logs as well in there. And that also allows you to generate reports, schedule reports, and can do some customization of those reports as well. As I said, the extended storage for FortiCloud devices, it is based on the device. So a 60D, for example, has a different license required to 300D because obviously they're expected to be more logs. But what you're effectively doing is buying the license to extend the logs for 1 year. A note on this, I've had a few queries from partners around this and from customers. There is no grace period when it comes to renewing that 1-year log subscription. So if your customer wants to retain their logs beyond 1 year, they must renew the subscription before it expires. If they don't, the license expires, they will lose all the logs, and when they go and buy or renew the subscription will start again. So they may only have, after a month, they'll only have a month of logs on there. So we'll lose all the previous year's logs on there. So something to be aware of with the FortiCloud services out there. You can also do the FortiDeploy mentioned earlier on. So FortiDeploy allows you to effectively buy a license and utilize FortiDeploy to turn around and do zero-touch provisioning for that. So you buy one license as a nominal fee. It's over £100, and you can have as many devices on there as you want to actually deploy out to those devices as well. And lastly, you can also have, as I mentioned, have the FortiSandbox. So the FortiSandbox is price dependent on the FortiGate unit as well. And what that allows you to do is you use the FortiSandbox cloud service, advanced persistent threats, deploying stuff, or we're actually monitoring and tracking zero-day threats there, or advanced persistent threats, and sending the unknowns into FortiCloud. The thing to bear in mind with that as well is that you're buying the license for a year. Just bear with me a second again. You're buying the license for a year. It is dependent on the specific FortiGate unit. So you buy a license for a 300D or a 60D and utilize that. There is very limited reporting in using the FortiGuard, FortiSandbox Cloud service. So a file is actually sent up to the FortiCloud service. It reports back and says yes or no. Effectively, this is good or bad, effectively, and allows the traffic to move on. So hopefully that's given everyone a little bit more information. Oh, sorry, just before I finish, I did forget about one other license. There is an enterprise management license, and the enterprise management license also extends this to a multi-tenanted environment. So you can use FortiCloud in a multi-tenanted environment. So if you want to manage multiple FortiGate units for your customers, you can buy a license and actually utilize that in a multi-tenanted, where you've got all your different customers coming into that environment, and you can actually be providing that as part of a managed service out to your customers. Particularly for some of you out there that you know, have got a lot of small customers out there, it could be a very effective way of using FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer. Hopefully that's helped everyone out. Are there any questions? I don't know if anyone's got any questions out there at all. I'm just going to make sure that everyone's off mute. If there are no questions, you're welcome to drop me an email if you want any, if you have any specific questions, or to your account managers. More than happy to advise on those. And as I said, you know, do use the FortiCloud service. Go in, let your customers access into it, or your technical guys use it. And don't forget that Chris and Zach will be actually showing you the FortiCloud, the actual FortiCloud service, and doing a demo of that at 11 o'clock. So a couple of people have asked about the actual slides. I will sort out getting the slide deck sorted out and sent out. Yes. Thank you very much for attending this morning. Next FortiCloud, sorry, the next FortiWebEx is in April. Can't remember the date off my top of my head, but do join us for future Forti Friday WebExes. Thank you very much.
Thanks.